somebody else's phone. Okay. All right. Sorry. But pay attention, parents. Where do you stop it out?
Stop at verse 27.
Verse 27. So it's 2 Maccabees 7:27. And for those of you that are not parents, for those of you that, don't have children in that situation, you're going to run into parents that do have children in that situation. Or you someday may end up in that situation. And the same things that you're learning now is the same things that you have to bring out and let people work out their own salvation. Okay. So this woman, the last part where it says that she endured the troubles of education, that means the education ain't talking about the education of the Greeks. It's talking about teaching the commandments. Now, is teaching the commandments trouble? No, it ain't no problem. But for a child and trying to get a child to understand, that's the problem there. Because the child be like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You're like, I already told you this. I've told you this. This is the 5th time. You got to explain it again. This is the 6th time. So you have to, you have to endure telling that person or telling that child. The scriptures don't change. The problem is we have changed. We keep adjusting. We keep going backwards, trimming. We keep bending. And when you bend, you destroy the person. It's a guarantee. You're gonna corrupt that person. They're gonna pull on themselves some calamities, some addictions. Okay. So from there, let's now go to the 6th chapter. Consider the education part. That had been around once that thing was established. Greek sports remained. It didn't go away. 2 Maccabees 6:18.
2 Maccabees chapter 6 and 18. Eliezer,
Eliezer,
one of the principal scribes.
Right, a main guy, one of the main examples.
An aged man.
Right, he was an older gentleman. Okay, go ahead.
And of a well-favored company was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
So they forced him. Okay, they forced him to do what? To open his mouth. So now take it. We're reading in the same Maccabees. So throughout time, not only it went from trying to control Israel by sliding in Greek customs and Jason being demonic and giving Israel, a little time to warm up to the Greek custom and philosophies and consenting. Those were till now we're going to force y'all. Now we're forcing. It's a forceful takeover now. So time evolved to where now you're forcing. We want everybody to bow down. And if this is a principal scribe, okay, if he does it, everybody else is going to follow suit because he's an example setter. That's why it's so important for those men that are in some form of authority, you have some ability to teach. That's why you have to be blameless. Because people are going to look at you and they're going to see, hey, what is it you're doing? What is that you doing with your life? What your children do? What does your wife do? How does your wife behave? How does your wife respect you? How does your wife talk to you? How do you talk to your wife? How do you have brotherly love? Okay? How do you keep the high holy days? You love the Most High. What is your life about? Because whatever you do, they're going to say, we could do it too. Okay? So he was an aged man. He was well favored. They made him open his mouth, and they put swine in it. Verse 19.
But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live, stained with such an abomination, spit it forth, and came of his own accord to the torment.
He said, kill me. I'll die. See that? So now, look how time evolved. Right now, we make mockery. And say, oh, I eat everything from the rooter to the tutor. The tutor is the butt. Okay? They do. They eat intestines and everything. Pig, they eat his feet. They eat his tails. They eat his snoot. You see that? They eat his skin. Called pork rinds. They make mockery of it. Look how time evolved. And you can't tell them nothing. This man spit it out. He said, kill me. Look at the difference in how our foreparents, they stood for what's right and for what the scriptures say. And look what we do. Could your life be a disgrace? Or are you just giving yourself over to a Greek world that's masqueraded with makeup on, covered by lies and deceit? Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 20. As it beholds them to come.
They wanted to come. Behold means they wanted to come. Okay? What did they want to do? And they wanted to give their life up. They said, I ain't doing this. Okay? You can just name your worst thing. Say, I'll die before I do that. That's how they felt. They said, man, I'll die before I break these commandments. I ain't going against that. Okay? They had the ground beneath their feet, man. These people were grounded. The woman that she just told her son that she endured education, she was exhorting her son to go ahead and take his death, because she was going to receive him again in the resurrection. That's what we need to know. That if we keep these commandments, then you're going to resurrect. And if your children, if you want to see your parents again in the resurrection, you'll get your parents back. You need to keep the commandments. If you don't keep the commandments, ain't no coming back for you. You ain't going to see your parents again. That's the lie that the Greek world has taught you. Everybody is going to go to heaven. Everybody is going to do this. No. Only way you're going to see your parents again, Christ said, if thou art enter into life, keep the commandments. That's the ticket in. You know how you go into an amusement park? You got to have a ticket to get in. If your parents go in and they got a ticket and you don't have a ticket, you getting through the gate? It's God standing there. You're not getting through that gate. You need a ticket. You need a ticket. In order to resurrect, you need to apply the commandments. So you need to start thinking about that. So if you think baseball, tennis, basketball, soccer, hockey, skiing, swimming, whatever you got going on that's against the commandments is more important than waking up from death, have at it. Well, I wouldn't choose that for you. Okay, let's keep going. Verse 20 again.
As it beholds them to come, they were resolute to stand out against such things.
So they were resolute, meaning they were resolved to stand out against such things. That's what mindset you have to be. You have to stand out against. You know what else? I mean, be smart. What's one of the number one downfalls with these Greek customs with these sports? What's the number one? They all have the same thing in common, the downfall. The injury. The number one, the injury. Nobody likes to be injured. It just tears your body to pieces. You never really realize it until you're hurt. I played football so much, the most I used to play. Sometimes I would twist both ankles and then heal them up and wrap them tight inside the cleat, put the cleats on, then wrap them up and still go out there and play. And sometimes I will pull both hamstrings, heal them up. I mean, I was in pain. Once I stopped, I never missed playing. I remembered, the so-called fun that I had, but did I want to do that again? I said, heck no. That was painful. I felt stupid once I really realized this truth. I felt stupid for destroying my body like that. All those years, pulling muscles and strains, all those injuries. All those people that play those sports now, man, their body is gone, man. Those football players, man, they got those, they walk around, man, with forever dizziness, concussions from banging their head. I bet, that's why some guys, they retire because they have some injuries. They're like, I'm tired of it. I mean, but they don't try to throw shade because they're not in this truth. So they don't really know. But they know that they retire. They're like, I'm tired of being injured. I don't want to go back out there and do that again. That stuff is real. Esau teach you to be bigger, faster, and more lethal. Exciting. That's witchcraft. What they going through. It's a witchcraft in there. It's a demonic vibration that's in there. That glory, that fame. But let's keep going. Where you at?
Verse 20, second precept. As are not lawful for love of life.
You got to start it from the top then. I'm sorry.
Verse 20. As it behold them to come, or resolute to stand out against such things, as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that have the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision.
So you see what they try to do? They try to take him to the side. And they asked him to bring his own food. They try to get him to deceive the people. Everybody see that? Or some of you missed it. What about you youngins in here? Did y'all see that? Y'all understand what just happened? The Greeks is trying to get him to trick the rest of Israel because they know he's an example. And they said, well, bring a piece of lamb. And you can put that in your mouth and just pretend like you're eating a pork chop. Just pretend. It says, for the old acquaintance they had with the old man, so they knew him. Taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Bring something from home. Go ahead.
Such as was lawful for him to use.
Right. Lawful according to Leviticus 11. Go ahead.
And make as if he did eat of the flesh, taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
See, they try to get him to bamboozle the people. They still do things like that today. Try to pull you to the side, okay, and make deals with you, knowing that what you're doing is going to destroy the rest of your people. Why do you think there's so many, in order to make it, in Hollywood, you got to take your clothes off. If they get one girl to take her clothes off, another girl's going to do it. Another girl's going to do it. Another girl's going to do it. make it in Hollywood. They get one guy to wear a dress, and you get another one. They say, hey, take him to the side. We know you ain't supposed to do this, but we're going to give you a lot of money. You think about it, you do it. Just make believe that you really not like that. Then now, once he put that dress on, what you think happens then? A spirit enters into him. It takes a spirit to do that. A spirit enters into him. Now the dude is battling homosexuality. Okay. So this thing is real, man. Israel y'all gotta make y'all mind up on what y'all gonna do. Okay. But being lukewarm, meaning wavering and struggling, that don't work. Okay. Go ahead.
Verse 22. That in so doing, he might be delivered from death.
Right. And so doing, he might be delivered from death, meaning we won't kill you if you do that. Go ahead.
And for the old friendship with them find favor. But he began to consider the street, and as became his age.
We're coming up, to our point. Come on.
And the excellency of his ancient years.
You see that? So this man, he went throughout his years with an excellent disposition, a good report. He wasn't sinning. He took all of that in account. So as we coming up, when we become men in this truth, y'all become women in this truth, you got to get to the point to where you stop breaking the laws, man. You stop being rebellious. You stop sinning, and that you have an excellent time in walking. Okay? Go ahead.
And the honor of his great head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child.
And his most honest education from a child. So his education, where do you think his education came from? Did it come from the public school system of your state? And his education from a child came from the laws of the Most High. It ain't no math test in the Bible. Ain't no science test in the Bible. The education that means the most come from the scriptures. So he was educated from a child. Okay? And him being educated from a child, he wasn't willing to reason with that, bargain with that. He wasn't willing to compromise that. He believed and trusted in that, and he was willing to stand on that. That's what the Most High is looking for with us. So, sisters, help brothers train up the children in the education of the Most High, because that's what's going to stand. That's what the Most High is looking for. That's what means the most. And when it comes to enduring the problems that come with the child, you have to suffer and endure the trial. Okay? Hold this. We'll come back to this and get 1 Peter. I think it's Timothy, right? Childburn. The one that's going to be saved in childburn. Find it. There it goes. First Timothy 2:15.
First Timothy, chapter 2, in verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbirth, if they continue in faith and charity, and holiness with sobriety.
We're going to read it again. Go ahead. 1 Timothy 2:15.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbirth.
See that? So the sisters, you're going to be saved in childbirth. You get an opportunity to save yourself. Okay? Save yourself. You don't worry about the man's job. Read the 12th verse.
Verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach.
See that? So you don't have to worry about the body. You don't have to worry about the ministry like men do. That's our necessity. That's our job. You got a job, and you know what your job is? To make sure you keep the mind straight of your children so that they're not thinking about this Greek world. Okay? Finish verse 12.
Nor to assert authority over the man.
Don't usurp authority over the man. Okay? Don't be answering back, talking back, being rebellious, trying to negotiate with him on the law. Why would you try to do that? The scriptures say what they say. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. If you're going to do it, then go ahead and do it and be quiet. If you're not going to do it, then you need to say, I'm not going to do it, so that he can go into the scriptures and say, you're not supposed to feel like that. This is the reason why you're supposed to do it. But you don't go back and forth about what's right. What's right is what's right. That's a no-brainer right there. What's right is what's right. Who's asking you to do what's right? The Most High is. So if you feel like you don't want to do the right thing, you'll feel like that towards the Most High, not towards the brother. The brother's only trying to get you to see, thus says the Lord. Thus says who? The Lord. Not Reuben. Don't say, thus says Reuben. That's one of the tribes. No, the Most High is telling you what you should do and how you should do it. Instead of getting caught up in all of that, women should be focused on what? The child. See that? Women should be focused on the child. How many women actually buckle down and take it on your responsibility to direct these children? Or are you do your hands up and you're like, I'm exhausted and I'm tired? That's on them. I don't know what to do. I can't control. Hey, get yourself together, sister. And sit down and teach that child. Teach the child what they should do. Tell them what they should do, what they should not do. Instill the fear, your fear, inside of them. That if they don't do it, then they have consequences. And you're going to be right there. At the crossroad between right and wrong, you know who they need to see standing there? The mother. Because they don't know the Most High like that. But they're supposed to know you. They're supposed to know you're going to be jumping all over their case, that you're going to have something to say, and if need be, you're going to put your hands on them. Okay? The Most High said you will be saved in doing so. Children turn out to be terrible adults because they're not led, they're not guided. And I'm not talking about the children that come from the feminist movement, the children that came from the single parent background and home. I'm talking about the children of the truth, the children of light. You sisters that's in this truth have to do a better job with your children. Sit down with your child pertaining to your child's mental state and give them the commandments and let them see the difference between where they're going wrong at and how they need to go. See, they're trying to reason with give you an example. I got a son, I just had to flat tell him, you don't have no friends. You don't have no friends. You don't have no friends at school. Somebody say hi to you, say hi, keep going. It's to the point where I had to just forbid him to even have conversation. Because the conversation does what? Gets him in trouble. Not trying to out them, but you have to be involved in their mental state. You have to be involved in what's going on with them and wherever they at and wherever they getting it wrong. You have to insert yourself right in the middle of that. Is it a problem? Yes. Is it troublesome, worrisome, stressful, burdensome? Yes. Does it give you a headache? Yes. But you got to be there. You have to be there until they see it for themselves, until they see it and understand it. You have to be there. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if she continue in faith. She got to have faith while she's dealing with that child or while she's dealing with those children. She catching hell. She got to continue in the faith. What is the faith? Where is she learning from? 1 Corinthians 14, verse 35. Where did she learn the faith from? Where did she learn the endurance from? Where did she learn that you don't give up on somebody from?
1 Corinthians 14 and 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home.
Where did she learn the faith from? The husband. And what is she doing with that faith? Teaching it to the children. She's going to be saved in doing so. She has to continue. Go back to 1 Timothy 2:15. She has to continue in faith. Sisters, don't let the children run around out of order. Sisters, don't let the children run around out of order. Sisters, please do not let the children run around out of order. Snatch a knot in them. Tell them what to do. Boss them around. They reflect the Israelite families.
Back to 1 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith.
If they continue in faith, go ahead.
And charity.
In charity. You see, so charity, we know charity covers a lot. So when you're dealing with that situation, you're going to have to, sometimes you're going to have to regroup, because it can definitely be vexation. Yes. When I see that word charity, just think of the struggles that you have with somebody else. We always say how you have to have charity when it deals with another person. That's the same charity that you got to have when you deal with a child. That means you got to be able to suffer long. You have to endure. And whatever else part of charity pertaining to the struggle that you might have, you got to get it done. You got to get it done. You got to sit down with them and get into their little mind and reason with them. Okay? And you have to set limits, and you have to stand on those limits. Do you be hard or soft? You have to be hard. The scriptures say foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction, what type of rod You know, when you use a rod, is a rod hard or soft? It's hard. The scripture said the rod of correction to drive them far from it. So you have to be stern. Okay, you have to be stern. We're going to finish this. It says, in holiness, that's your example. And that's your application. And that's, you know, your walk towards the Most High. And that's your relationship with the husband in holiness. Because when you're doing these things, the Most High is going to bless you. Okay? The Most High is going to bless and then give the child the spirit to do it. That's what has to happen, right? I want us to see and know that. Some of you have trouble in children and you don't see no end. Well, you have to solve those problems using the scriptures and you have to endure. It just told you that. You have to continue in faith. You have to continue in holiness. You have to continue in charity. And also sobriety. You know what sobriety is? You have to be sober. You can't let nothing slip. You have to have your antennas up. You can't be drunk. You notice what a drunk does? Miss a lot of stuff, fall asleep, dozing off, nodding. Can't nothing get by you. This world is dangerous and this world is sinful and crazy. You have to be sober when you deal with your children. You got to know what situation to put your children in. What situation don't put your children in. You got to know who to let around your children and who not to let around your children. You got to know where to take your children to and where not to take your children. You have to be sober. The Most High say, you get that right, you say you're going to save yourself. You're going to look at that as righteousness. You're going to be you're producing the righteous Israelites. You're bringing them up. So where the man, his time and his activity is set on ministering and you know, the brotherhood and the church and you, yours is set the same thing, but now, you know, the children or the child. Okay, so that's it with that. That's how important that is. That's where it starts at. So is it 2 Maccabees 6? Would you stop that?
So back to 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 23. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his great head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law, made and given by God. Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightway to send him to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old,
90, go ahead,
and 10, were now gone to a strange religion.
So he said it's becoming not our age, said he, in any wise to disassemble. That means to fall apart, to go away. You know, the thing is we don't have anybody 90 years old standing in the truth like this, standing up in the truth like this. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know anybody that age. That would be a nice question. What's the oldest person that can be found in the truth? Right, you know what I'm saying? Diligently in the truth. I ain't talking about you can go get some old bag that, yeah, I know the people be the people of God. You still wicked. No, not that. No, not that. We're talking about what we're doing. Join hard. Join hard. Committed. Die hard like this dude here. So he didn't leave this. How many of you waiting? I get 25, I'm gone. I get this, I'm gone. You going to destruction is where you going. You think that because, and where are you going, to the Greeks? I'm going to the Greeks. Come on, man. The Greeks don't set, no, they don't, those your oppressors. Those people hate you. They hate you. This is the only place in Israel, in the Most High in Christ, in this truth, that's the only love. When have anybody ever been taught to do something wrong? When have you been told to steal, lie your way out of a situation? When have your sons and your husbands been ever taught to go commit whoredom? Put you down and go get another woman. Never taught that. Never taught nothing against the commandments of the Most High. The Greeks teach you to put away your laws. Hey, we want to get to this point. We don't ever want to disassemble. We want to become aged in this thing. And when we have to sleep, then we have to sleep. But we definitely don't want to fall to pieces or walk away from what's right. Verse 25.
And so they through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer should be deceived by me. And I get a stain to my old age and make it abominable.
Right, the man was he was caring about his name. That's the scriptures. Scriptures say, have regard for your name. He said, man, I ain't going to get no stain on my old age and make it abominable. Meaning when somebody say Eleazar and he held on, but then he just wanted to live a little bit longer, so he did that, man. He deceived the people. And everything that he's been working for is down the drain. That's how sometimes we do. We sin, and then when we sin, everything that we've been doing, it just get flushed down the drain. And some people, they just accept it. They'd be like, oh, man, all right, whatever then. I just did, You can't do that. You got to start building, and never sinning again. So I'm not doing that no more. I'm not going to lie no more. I'm not going to steal no more. I just can't do that. I'm not going to do drugs no more. I'm not going to be drunken no more. I'm not going to be big mouth no more. I'm not going to be rebellious no more. I'm not going to disrespect my husband anymore. I'm not going to talk back to him anymore. Go ahead, somebody get it. Before it breaks off. So that, when you start, when you start building some type of rapport like that for yourself, thank you. When you start building up a rapport like that for yourself, you don't want to disassemble for that. Like, say, for instance, if you have a habit of saying bad things that you know that you ought not to say, all you have to do is stop. Never say it again. Never go against it. I used to say that, I'm not going to say that no more. I used to cause problems. I'm not going to cause problems no more. You got to tell yourself that. I mean, somebody else is telling you that, but you're not listening to them. The best person that for you to listen to, man, go ahead, try yourself. Listen to yourself. Tell yourself something positive. I ain't going to do that no more. And then live by it. So it goes from 1 day, 10 days, to 2 months, 6 months. And then you're going to really realize that, man, you know what? I wasn't supposed to be doing that. No way. That's something good. I'm glad I didn't. I stopped doing that. And then the person gonna like you. People are gonna like you then. They're gonna say, oh man, that person ain't like me. Look what difference that makes. And then when others look at you and they see what type of person you are, they're gonna say, oh man, I like that dude right there. I like that girl right there, that sister there, that beautiful sister. Boy, if you break these laws and then you just keep doing it, that's not something that's likable right there. So, I mean, you got to do that for yourself. And he said, man, he wasn't going to leave the commandments and make his life an abomination by staining it. Verse 26.
For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men.
Right, he said, so if he had ate that meat, he would have been delivered from the punishment of men. But, go ahead.
Yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty.
See that? So he knew that the Most High would judge him. Go ahead.
Neither alive nor dead.
He can't escape whether he's alive nor dead. So in other words, the Most High will plague his life. Because he knew that everybody, for an example, followed his example. And in doing so, the Most High would plague his life. Because the hand and wrath of the Lord will fall upon the people that then committed the sins because they saw him do it. Verse 27.
Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as my age requires.
Now, therefore, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such a one as my age required. And that means, you know how people expect you to mature? And they expect you to act your age. Sometimes they might say, how old are you? They say to a child, how old are you? Well, you sure don't act like it. Well, this man, him being 90 years old and is supposed to have learned, he said, I'm going to act like it. I'm going to show myself to be a man. I'm going to make sure that I do what everybody expect me to do because I've been doing it all of this time. So I'm going to do that. That's how we all supposed to do it in our perspective walk. You've been around this truth 5 years. And if you're a woman and you talking back to your husband, do you think that you acting like you've been around this 5 years? If you're a child and you 17 years old and you disrespecting your parents and you've been born the truth, you've been around the truth all this time, and you disrespectful, do you think that you acting like you're 17 years old? The answer is no. If you're a husband or you're a brother in this truth and you've been around this truth, how long? Let's just 10 years. And you still breaking the laws? Are you somebody that's walking like you've been in something 10 years? No. So each and every last one of us in our perspective walk, man, you're supposed to behave like that, like you have that type of experience. Knock it off. Get out your feelings. What do we do with our feelings? Crucify them. Crucify them. Who got to crucify them? You got to crucify them. Because if you wait for another person to crucify, you take it personal. He said, let the righteous smite me. It shall be a precious oil, which shall not break my head. But everybody can't take that. So act like you've been in the truth. Therefore, as you get older, you're going to continue the same pattern. You're going to behave like I've been around this long. I know better. That's how you're going to walk. That's how you're going to behave. Your conscience is going to remind you, I'm an experienced person in this life, in this walk. And I'm expected by the Most High and man to do what? Behave and walk accordingly. That's how you supposed to be, man. You don't supposed to just numbers walking up and you still got a foot in Esau's Greek world. You're still in the world. Man, that's a thorn right there. Israel don't need no more people like that. A man don't want a woman like that. A woman don't want a husband like that. The church don't want no man like that. The church don't want no woman like that. And you children, parents don't want no child like that. The Most High don't want a soul like that. So now if you get this message and you understand what's being said, there's only one word for it. Repent. Change. Okay, let's keep going.
Verse 28. And leave a notable example to such as the young, to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy law. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the tournament.
All right, so his thing was, I want to leave a notable example to the young, to keep these laws unto death. Christ said, he that shall endure it unto the end. He says to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. Verse 29.
They that led him, changing the good will, they bear him a little before into hatred.
So now and we don't, y'all don't realize that, because moments ago I said, how do these people feel about you? I said, they hate you. You don't see that though, because they all full of deceit. Because they're trying to get you and manipulate your mind to do what? To become the next star, to become the next singer, the next entertainer. Okay? They're deceiving you. Now, these people here, they try to trick him. It says, they that led him changing, see that word, changing the goodwill they bear him. So they once had goodwill, they changed it. It says a little before, they changed it into what?
Hatred.
They changed it into hatred. Go ahead.
Because the aforesaid speeches proceeded, as they thought, from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with strife, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pain in body by being beaten.
They beat him to death. They beat him to death. Yeah. So now just imagine some of the pictures that they show you. Oh, man, I saw something horrible. Let me see. What did that woman say? You know, what's the new slave movie that's out? You asked me about it. I watch it whenever it come on. What's the movie? The series called Underground. And you know, the one little young girl in there, they make up all cute and stuff. She works in the house, right? Ain't that the one that played the pineapple thief or something in some movie a little while ago? That woman there. She's an older young woman now, right? Do you know they had like a little cast, or they had like a little preview on the series? Why did she say that playing the movie was exciting and adventurous? I say, oh my God. Nigga Red, please. You play a slave. You play a slave movie where they lynching us, and you say it's electrifying, adventurous, and exciting. I was done. Things like that pop out. I listen to words. Listen to what people say. This is the daughter of Israel. They treat us like shit. Yes, they treat us like crap in these movies. In the same movie, they beat her across the arms and the hands. In the same movie, the master is raping her mother, got her mother brainwashed. Just lynching everybody on the plantation. She said the making of that movie is electrifying, adventurous, To real it, her words. This brother here, he lost his life in a situation like that. They beat him to death because he wouldn't trick Israel into eating the food. He said, if I do this, he said, I'm going to bewitch the people. They all going to follow my example. They'll just do what I do. But he knew that those people would rebel. That means they would call it rebel. He called it keep the laws. That's how y'all supposed to be. Y'all supposed to be like, if I keep the laws, other people are going to keep the laws. That's what the Most High is asking for us to do. You're not supposed to go back from this. We're supposed to dislike everything that comes from them. We're supposed to be trying to get the rest of the people that are doing that from there. So Greek fashions and sports and the world of entertainment supposed to be at a loss. We're not supposed to take our youth and feed into them, give our children to them. We go unto them. No. We're trying to get those people up out of there. Say, hey, y'all come on up out of there, man. They got to spend time in this. Everybody's house is so out of order. You only got time for basketball practice. You got time for the laws. How you got time to sing and dance and jigaboo? I tell my daughter this morning, I say, call your brother a prince. She's like, I got to do that? I'm like, what's so hard about that? What's wrong with that? This is the mind state where we at. I mean, she did it. But what, so siblings fight like cats and dogs. But you go to basketball practice and you got a smile on your face. Come on, man. Israel got to get better than that. It takes us. It just takes one day at a time. But we have to believe in this in order for us to have success. We have to believe in this. Okay? What is that?
No, yeah, a quick point I was going to say, putting our children in these Greek and European sports, it make our children hate the assembling together, believe it or not. Because like the brother.
We don't get to that. All right, keep on.
But in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him.
See that, but in soul I am well content to suffer these things, because he said he feared the Most High. Okay, go ahead.
And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
So when we see this man, how does it be? Okay, so now create the scenery. What's it like? Now, this action right here, we fast forward. We at this point. What does it look like out there? I wish you read. I asked you to just tell me, how does it look like out there? He being beat to death. What do you see? Mute your phone conference call. You ain't saying nothing. Dying, even alone, but in Israel watching our adversary people. Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead, Al. What do you see?
a lot of people out, and it started with the Europeans being happy, trying to get them to deceive the people. So all Israel is out there, and now he chose not to deceive the people, and he's dying for it. He's being beaten, but he suffered death for what's right. And we know what he's doing. The people.
Give me a scene. Paint a picture.
The people is being right now.
You're a reporter.
Right. Right now, we're having a great loss in our nation because our brethren is dying honorably for the word and the law of the Most High. But what I'm seeing up to the side is a glorious people that's watching him suffer, but now being lifted up in strength and virtue. His death is a loss, but it's also a great uplifting in the minds and in the souls of the people, because now they're refusing to do what the Europeans want them to do.
All right. So you think is he like standing in a crowd? You know,
no,
is he standing on concrete? Is there dirt? Do we have him strapped to a pole? Is he leaning up against a tree?
No.
Is
he out in the open all by himself?
All by nobody's there who's beating him then.
And all the Europeans are standing around him.
They're standing around
them up, beating them in the head, leg, body, chest, back. They murder them. They all around him.
Well, typically they have one lyncher. They have one swing in the whip. They have one swing in the whip, but there do be some more that's there a few feet away, so you can't run in any direction. And the rest of the people, they just pretty much stand there in fear. They can't do nothing. They be suspended in time. They don't do nothing. They just there staring. And they take that whip and they just go one by one. When that whip hits you, it makes gashes. Your skin pops open about an inch thick. It just splits. You know, like how people used to cook the Polish and it splits open from boiling too long. That's how the skin, it just pops open. So this man is just standing there, and they whooping him. They whooped him to death. But in his mind, he took that because he wasn't gonna. If Israel ate that swine, it wasn't gonna be because he taught them to do it, because he taught them to take it to the grave. You don't let people come in and change you and the laws. And that's what the Greeks have done. Okay? And so a lot of your so-called leaders, the scripture said they called you to err. They set examples, and now they have you bringing that same madness into your house and teaching your children. Okay? So let's go back to Second Maccabees. Let's go back to the 4th chapter. I just wanted to hear somebody say, well, it's kind of like there's a like crowd around, and Israel's standing there, and the man is standing there, and he's getting beat one by one. Can you flip it straight up in the air? Or that's how it was? Somebody needs like the additional light? Okay, let's go. We stopped at verse 10. And now let's go to verse 11. First Maccabees chapter 4 and 11.
First Maccabees.
Second Maccabees 4 and 11.
Second Maccabees chapter 4 verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of the father of Eupolymus, who went ambassador to Rome for an embassy and aid.
So royal privileges, was it really royal privilege? Hell no, it wasn't no royal privileges. Go ahead. He took away.
He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law.
Oh, wait a minute. I have to apologize. Verse 11, the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews, many things that we were able to do. It says by the means of John, the father of the Eupolemus, who went to, there's a guy who went to ambassador to Rome for amity, aid. These things got taken away. Okay, so at different times, Israel was left alone to do what? To keep our laws. It says, so those things were taken away and putting down the governments, which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. Everybody understand? Okay. Everybody with me? Okay, verse 12. Go ahead.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Right, so it wasn't, he's beginning to organize groups. So you would see people organizing and looking alike, but they were doing Greek customs, things that pertain to exercise. Okay, go ahead.
Now, such was the height of Greek fashion.
So now the Greek fashions, and take it, they also had a hat. So now you see they wear hats here that says St. Louis Cardinals. You go to Dallas and you see the Dallas Mavericks. Or you see the Dallas Cowboys. You go to Atlanta, you see the Falcons, the hat. Okay? Wherever you go, you see the Greeks, even after they win Super Bowl NBA championships, they bring out hats and T-shirts. They still have the shoulder pads on. Take the helmet off and put the hat on. The same thing. Okay, go ahead. You can start at the top again, 13.
Verse 13. Now such was the height of Greek fashion, and increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason. So the scriptures say that those heathenish manners, they are exceeding wickedness, exceeding profaneness. Profaneness are already wicked, but it's very, very wicked. These things are. This is how the Most High looks at this. And it started back then. This is the beginning of it, as we know. Go ahead. That ungodly wretch and no high priest.
Now listen to what it causes. I want us all to pay attention. Listen to what it causes the people to do. Children, men, women. Okay, go ahead.
That the priest had no courage to serve anymore at the altar.
It said it even causes the priest not to even want to serve at the altar anymore. Why would we think that? Why not? Why wouldn't the priest want to serve at the altar anymore? Why wouldn't the priest? I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's defiled.
It was defiled.
Done.
Not so. Not so. They didn't want to do it. They didn't. Somebody else had something. Go ahead.
Because they probably had their labor was in vain if all the people was choosing to go according to the manner of the heathen. So it's like they was in sore unbelief towards the way that the people was dealing against the law of the Most High.
Not so.
Not so. The thing is, it's going to allude to, it's going to even trap men. It even traps men. Okay? It even traps men. It's not just the youth. But he got the priests too. It's going to tell you. Go ahead. But despising, go ahead, despising the temple. They didn't even want to show up. It's like now. You might have guys not even showing up to the class. Where they at? Doing something different. You ask, brother, what's up? Where you at? Brother lying to you. He downsizing. Oh, brother, I was here doing it. I had to do that. Rather than some extra curriculum activity. Okay? Right now, men, they might be coaching, doing something. Yeah. I remember a few years ago, a brother, wanted to start coming, but he couldn't come because his son was doing something on the Sabbath day, playing basketball. And when he got corrected on it, he just forsook it altogether. Despising the temple. Grown men. Okay, go ahead.
And neglecting the sacrifice.
Do it. Come on. Hasten it.
Hasten to be partakers of the unlawful allowance is a place of exercise.
You see that? So they were, and so why didn't they want to serve anymore? Because they themselves were hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. You're like, dang, where's the priest? You look at the gym, they there. What is this going on? What is this for foolishness going on? So now, you got the youth, you got the priests, you got the women. You got everybody participating in this madness. That's why the priests didn't want to do it. So right now today, it's the same thing. Where are our brothers at? Brother, where you been? Brother, where you at? I can't make it. This don't have to be on the Sabbath. Israel was taking sacrifices to the temple on a daily basis. You can't find brothers because they off into something else. So, brother, why are you not coming to the school? I do this, or I do that. It's a difference when we don't know, but when we do know, and you correct it, it has to change. So those of you that know people that's doing that, you have to correct that. You have to tell them so that they can change that. Okay? Go ahead. After this game of discus. So that sport there is called sport now. But after that game of discus, you know what that discus is. That's when you take the little disc and you roll yourself around in a circle and then you let it go. But at this point, things have evolved so much, you could put any game there. Track and field, basketball, football, baseball, tennis, volleyball, racquetball, bowling, swimming, skating, hula hooping, hopscotch, golf, jacks. Man, anything that's going to separate you from the Most High, you can put it there.
Call them forth.
Call them forth. Any sport, any game, call them forth. And they went to it. Well, ain't nothing wrong with the temple. Something's wrong with the minds of the people. They let Greek heathenistic customs pause in their mind. So now you told me, is this something for the children of God? And you're not supposed to bite your tongue when you tell somebody they shouldn't do it. You show them the scriptures. You don't even, because we've been doing it for decades. We've been doing it so long, we fought to play with them. We fought to get involved. Now that we in there, for somebody to tell you you ain't supposed to be there, you like, I don't see that. Well, I ain't going to use my words. I will use the Most High's words. So either you hear this, okay? Go ahead.
Not sitting by the honors of their fathers, But like is the glory of the Grecians, best of all.
You know what? I saw, well, I ain't gonna get it, so I'm gonna tell you how I saw a video a good while ago. Some brothers got twisted up, and then the question just came right out, and one say, "So you saying that we can't play football?" He said, "No. And you ain't saying it's unlawful to do it." I said, "Wait a minute, brother, you just brought the scriptures out, so you won't support it? You're supposed to tell him that's what the scriptures is saying. He got to make that decision." Because that's something that he set in his mind that that's what he want to do, and that's the life, a way that he want to go. That way going to get him what? A life of destruction. You could get some gold digging woman that's with you because she thinks that you going to get a contract. All women, most young women, they leech on to these young men that's playing these sports. And y'all know deep down in y'all mind, y'all know that these girls think that this dude, man, if he get a contract, he gonna get some money. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. 9 times out of 10, when that happens for him, he's doing the wrong thing. 10 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10, when that happens for him, you think he gets his childhood love mate? Nope. His childhood girlfriend? Nope. His college girlfriend? Nope. Esau got it all planned for him. Nope. The same way they pull that man to the side secretly, they pull him to the side. Say, no, we don't want you with her. Because she's going to get pregnant by you on purpose to try and make sure that you stay with her. We're going to give you Becky. Becky knows to have an abortion. See, y'all females, and y'all don't think that it go down like that. That's because y'all give your oppressor too much doggone credit. He's the devil. He's the children of Satan. His spirit is filled with Satan. So these Europeans, when our boys get off the bus, all those cheerleaders, they already tell them, number 10, that's the one y'all go after. Why you think, oh, yeah, welcome, man. Welcome to TSI. We got all this planned out. We're going to go here. We're going to show you this. We're going to show that. All that's right. That's all planned out. They say, oh, you ain't got time for no baby. See? This wipes the mind slate clean. When I say this wipes clean, Israel don't be wanting to have nothing to do with the truth. Dealing in this. When you be participating in all of that and you have to be at the school, the first thing you'll be thinking about is, man, I can't go there. I got to be at this curriculum. I got to go there. Same thing with people trying to be fashion modelists. Oh, I got a model. You know that the truth, man, you can't be the type of model because maybe the clothes is going to be unlawful. You gotta line your hair up. You got to wear makeup. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to be a slut, man, to be a model. You say. Okay, go ahead now.
And it really destroys the mind of the child. Because the child, remember, the child mind is already persuasive. The child mind, the one part that the child's mind already have foolishness bound in it. So the child's mind, if those things are being given to the child, all that extra stuff that the child finds fun, all that overexertion, the sport, the players, that child is going to completely forget about what's right. Because the child already values what's right, as it is. So as parents, if we give our children over to that, we're destroying our children and their souls. The Most High hold us accountable for that. He'll hold that blood on our hands. That's been a lot of calamity to come from that. You gotta choose the scripture. Like I was thinking of something earlier when I was coming out. Like it's coming out with how Esau playing and plotting things, but remember school. You know, school is total destruction. The children got to go there. No, go ahead. The children got to go to school in order to learn simple things like reading, writing, and stuff like that. But just like Esau made our children be in school all that time and be filling their mind up with the pagan holidays, which is destruction. It's the same way how they do with the sports. They try to steer it into our children's minds at a young age from the time they enter into the school program to make them hate the temple of God or even listening to the first. That's where a lot of battles come between son and father, or son and mother, or daughter and mother, or daughter and father. A lot of battles come from the things that they get from the school. It makes them hate to listen. It's the scriptures right here. Like, it's another point in 2 Maccabees 7 that was coming up. I want to go to 2 Maccabees 7. A point in verse 27. And I want everybody to go to 2 Maccabees 7 and 27 is a quick point. So, 2 Maccabees 7 and 27. It says, but she bound herself toward her. So we want, so I was real quick referencing back to the mother who was encouraging her son to accept the death because they were trying to get him to eat swine's flesh. So it says, but she bound herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake to her perfect language on this matter. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. Okay, come on. One more thing.
Yeah, that's it. On the latter part may receive it again. They don't say resurrection.
Well, okay. So let's look down to verse 29. It says, for now this torment, I read 28, and I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this torment, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. So the point is, these are the things that the children are supposed to be learning about the history of their forefathers. And one of the things that this mother understands, because what? She read and knew the law and the prophets. And also the prophets are who? Yahweh. Because when she says that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren, what is she talking about? The brother said earlier. She's talking about the resurrection. These are the things that our children are supposed to know and learn. And also that it goes to show that they knew the Spirit of the Most High gave that to them because they believed and understood it by reading the scriptures in the prophets that Yahweh was going to come. You read it in Exodus 18. And that Yahweh was going to deliver the children of Israel from sin and also return. So that what? We will receive the resurrection again. So they understood that. And she also taught her children. So those are the things that's supposed to be built up in their mind to where they love those things and not the way of the heathen. And it also take these things away from them to where they'll be forsaking the way of what? Of salvation, which is what? Being resurrected again.
So let's go back to 2 Maccabees 4. Second Maccabees 4, and I'll get it out. Let's see. In verse 15. So it says, not setting by the honors of their father. So these men, because it dealt with the priests, they just forsook everything. The day that represents brothers, our brothers forsake everything and all responsibilities to follow the world. It says, not setting by the honors of their fathers, but likening the glory of the Grecians best. Right there, when you see the glory of the Grecians, let's elaborate on that a little bit. And I want y'all to tell me, what do y'all think that could be talking about? The glory of the Grecians. I'm going to take some callers. Y'all brothers here, y'all know, I think y'all should know I've been saying it. I keep saying it over and over. The glory of the Grecians. Gaboria. And before you answer, I'm gonna give you a clue. Remember, the clue is we're talking about sports, because we're talking about games. It named the discus. You know how the games be. That's what they call it, the games. So the men, they like the glory of the Grecians. You're a smart brother. I think you're going to get this one. I probably picked the wrong one, trying to toy with you, especially giving you that clue too. What is the glory that the priest caught the vapors with?
Well, like we have it today, the glory of the Grecians, right? So there's gymnasiums and all that. It's the self-glory, because in their games, the winner got all the glory. You know, so it's a lot of vanity and pretty much vainglory for that one person who won. So the priest would look at this and they'd be like, well, we can give the same glory, you know, by them being put in charge of a Greek estate, you know, whatever area that the Greeks conquer, like per se Jerusalem, you know, that those priests wanted to be the high priest, you know, over Jerusalem, so they could be in charge over Jerusalem.
You're adding too much. Stay on task. You're adding too much. You had it right, but then you start adding a lot. With Jerusalem, stay with the game.
The game, well, it's the Olympics. You know, they had the Olympics back then, that they do today.
Right, they had the Olympics back then, and at any time they have a game. It's all games, every game. What glory is it talking about where the men caught the vapors? They love that glory. And but I'm gonna take one thing from it. You said the winner. It don't have to be the winner. That's the last clue. I'm gonna butt in. That's the last one. You don't have to win. But it's like they like the glory. Tell us about that.
The festivities. They like the spirit that everybody's in. You know, to go watch the game, to be part of the game, to be around the game. Just, you know, just
there you go. Amen. That's it there. That's it there. That's what they love. That's what people love. They cannot get rid of it. You cannot take sports away because they love that. That's a bewitching. Right there. That's the bewitching. You said what he said? He said that they love the activity. Man, if you're a sports fan, people say, I'm a sports fanatic. They paint themselves, like, say, for instance, in Wisconsin, you see the people paint themselves to be cheese heads. They put the big old block of cheese on their head, and it be dead or winter. They show allegiance. You don't tell me it's a spirit. It ain't a spirit that make you come out the cold and it's snow everywhere and it's freezing and you ain't got no shirt on, but you got some, what do they call us, yellow and green or something like that. You paint your whole body like that. That's a spirit make you do that, man. It's a bewitching. There's a bewitching that goes on in sports to make you love that glory. You love that vain glory. You love that infamy, to be famous, the chanting, the crowd. Remember Gladiators? What did that man tell him to do? They told him to win the crowd. Make the crowd go crazy. Make the roar, you know what I'm saying, rise up the spirits. Okay? It said our forefathers, they love that glory. That's a witchcraft, man. That's a spirit. Okay? That's a spirit. To participate in that, and it makes you go crazy. It's like something possesses you to do, you know, and when you're involved and chanting and the noise and the excitement, and so many people possess, they don't even realize they possess. They don't even realize. It's just something that happens while you're there and while you're doing it. And for those of you that has participated in it, I tell you like this. I know because I participated in it before. So I know, you can't tell me. I know. Imagine how it is in a stadium full of people and there is no people. Do you still have the same intensity? Do you still have the same drive? Is it the same thrill? It's not the same, is it? Not at all. You got a stadium full of people. Whether it's hundreds, if you're an amateur, or if it's thousands, and you're a professional. I played semi-pro. There was thousands at our stadium, standing room only, from the ground all the way to the top of the stadium. Thousands of people chanting, making a spectacle. We making a spectacle out of ourselves. I know. And then when there's nobody there, ain't no get up and go. You're just doing it because out of raw talent, you're just doing it to be doing it. But you believe you're superhuman. When that spectacle, when that crowd comes, when that spirit swoop down on you, whoo, you're like, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the meanest, I'm the baddest, I'm the coldest. That's right, bro. Likewise with children. That spirit will, yeah. And it's so demanding on children, too. That thrive to be perfect. You know, I was seeing something on television. The little, what is it, Friday Night Tights? or something like that about Little League football. That's the name of it. And I can see how they were pressuring the children. You know, one little dude, number 7, he was, supposed to be really good, and the coach kept asking him, because he scored a lot of touchdowns, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? He's like, nothing. And he's like, even the team is asking, what's wrong? The coach got on him. Next play, he went out there and scored. Shook everybody. Got the ball, dip. It's like, dang. That little dude pushed the kids off of him, ran around the end and ran for a touchdown. He ran back in. The coach said, that's what I was looking for. That's the spirit, man. So y'all be careful. Get yourselves out of these situations, out of this demonic suppression. This Greek word.
The host has joined the conference.
All right. So let's back in. All right. So 2 Maccabees 4:15, it says, not saying by the honors of their fathers. What is the honors? Resisting sin, resisting the Greeks. Our forefathers hated the Greeks. Greeks were their enemies. But liking the glory of the Grecians, best of all. Say, man, we like that. This was the priest. We like that. So if they was doing it, what do you think their children and wives were? Doing the same thing. So we like that. Verse 16.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon us.
So in doing so, the Most High said, sore calamity upon them. I didn't understand why all the injuries until after I came into the truth. When I did, I realized why all the injuries. So the Lord said, no. You're supposed to take your body and run it to somebody else. Take yourself and exploit it like that. You let somebody use you and abuse you like that. Go ahead.
For they had them to be their enemies.
Stop. Read that part again.
For they had them to be their enemies.
So what do we feel about the Greeks? Right. We had them to be our enemies. They were our arch enemies. Go ahead.
And avengers.
Go ahead.
Whose custom they followed so earnestly.
But what ended up happening? We end up following their customs now so earnestly, meaning so with such dedication. With such dedication. And with so much commitment. That's how we are now. And now we give our children to them, doing the same thing. Our forefathers, the righteous of Israel, hated them people, disliked them, would have nothing to do with them. Okay? Now all of a sudden, we want everything to do with them. That's not right. Okay. Go ahead.
And unto whose custom they follow so earnestly, and unto whom they desire to be like in all things.
Man, that should crack us. That should cut us. It says, and unto whom they desire to be like in all things. Don't y'all see that today? If y'all see that today, that we want to be like them, it's to the point now we want to look like them. You ever been seeing somebody walking down the street and they got a head full of blonde hair and you don't know if it's you don't know what it is, and you turn around, you think it's a white person, and you turn around and it's your people. Now they want to look just like them. It says, in whom they desire to be like in everything. That's right, everything. You want to dress like them? Well, here's another thing. What's one of the... I'm going to go to another conference caller. Did Nagiana, did you ever make it? Did Nag ever make it, brothers?
I didn't get an answer.
Okay. Both of y'all, I want you to think closely. What's one of the first things that we noticed that Israel was trying to be like Esau once we integrated? Once desegregation came to be, our children start coming back a certain way. They wanted to be like whites in which way?
The way of life. The way they're living. Okay.
Well, I want you to choose something else because we can't change our houses until the new house. But what way one of the first things that developed? What could they change? We sent our children in the DSEG program out there with them, and guess what? And we sent our wives to their offices. Because with first, it was certain things you couldn't, I'm bringing it up to DSEG happened in the 80s. I'm bringing it up to the 80s. Just trying not to give it to you. What's some of the first things that it's not just children, but we, man, woman, and child, what's one of the first things we did to be like them? And we would ask one another, why are you being like them? I'm at the brothers. Blurt out like that. The brother is answering. Go ahead, Barry. You still there?
Yeah, con. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Maybe I don't know if it was just the tribe of Judah, but we experienced it. Okay, somebody. Who else is on conference?
Gaboria.
Okay, Gaboria. Help him out.
From watching the movies, like the old school movies, and going through the class that I took, I would say that they wanted to hang out. Like not just be home all the time, but hang out. They wanted to do what the whites were doing, hanging out at the little, the little burger parlors. They wanted to hang out. They didn't want to be home anymore. They didn't want to be in, a family unit. They saw how whites, would just go and do their own thing and hang out, and not just be home. That's what I saw.
Okay, we'll take that. They wanted to hang out. We'll take that. They wanted to hang out, but something in a Judite community and neighborhood and family. It's something that hit us hard. And we was like, what the hell is this? would come home with. Something the children would come home wanting to do. And if you're not careful, men would be turned back with a certain way, and women had it bad, but children too. Okay, what you think?
Let's share.
Music.
Boy, you tapping around it, but you're very close. You're very close. John?
Clothing?
Clothing. Well, I ain't gonna turn those down. I'm looking for a specific. It drove us crazy in Judah. It drove us crazy. We was like, what the heck?
The way they dialect.
The way they what?
The way they talk, like proper or something like that.
Exactly. The way they talk. We like, get out of here with that. What are you talking about? Why are you talking like that? Yeah, man, we'd send the children to school, and boy, they would come back, man. They would come back all adjusted. You know, or for woman, she goes to work, now she coming back, and she's all adjusted. And it would even happen to us. You know, I remember working, and this was just 10 years ago, 15 years ago, working around them, and it's like you talking to them, they couldn't understand you, the way that you freely talk, and they call it ebonics for us. You know, the way that we would talk, just like now the way I'm talking. I'll be like, see what I'm saying? When I'm talking, you know, you can understand what I'm saying, you know what I mean, and I can just really talk feeling fast, and you can just pick up on all of that, and they'll be like, huh? So, in order to communicate with them, you'd have to slow it down and pronounce each word, and then so when you go back to your people and you talking to them a certain way, and you're like, well, and they say, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like a white boy, man? You're like, no, I'm not talking like a white man. I'm just speaking, and and you wouldn't be saying you wouldn't be even saying that, you know. It's like everything would be adjusted. So that was in Judah, that was one of the first things that, you know, that we noticed, that, you know, you come back and now you trying to be like them. We'd be like, you trying to be like that? The Most High is saying, the scriptures is saying, I'm going to read it, 2 Maccabees. So for those of you that just came on with 2 Maccabees 4:16. We're going into the world, the wide world of sports, the Greek world and customs. There's no way that the Most High said for Israel to be like them. So it says, 2 Maccabees 4:16, by reason world, sore calamities fell upon them. So it fell upon our forefathers, the whole house, the man, woman, and the child, because they followed these games. They were into the games. Okay? And they loved it more. It says, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers. So we hated them. And then at one point, we were even like retaliating and taking revenge against them. But things changed. It says, whose customs they followed so earnestly, meaning we put our spirit into it. We were so sincere, and we put our spirit into it so much. That's why we're the best of the best. Who was a home run king a few years ago? Albert Pujols. Albert Pujols is an Israelite. What tribe is he from? Yeah, he's from Ephraim. He was here in St. Louis. I mean, they offered that man so much money, he still turned their behinds down. They offered him over. It over 100 million. I think he wanted like $400 million. He said, nope. He wanted $400 million. He was home run king. That boy would hit it from downtown to North St. Louis. Hit the damn ball out of the stadium like that. When it says that we followed them so earnestly, that means we put our spirit into it. Somebody else that was great. Barry Bonds, I don't know much about him, but yeah, I heard he was good. He was a slugger. Yeah. What about basketball? We follow these customs so earnestly, man. We put our spirit into it. Basketball. Michael Jordan. What's the other dude? The Laker dude. Kobe Bryant. Look how we put all our energy and our spirit. We know that these people are enemies, and we wish that we could avenge ourselves against them. But yeah, we follow their customs so earnestly. We put our spirit into it. Yeah. Every time you see these Greek customs, you see everybody putting all their energy into it, their spirit into it, man. Whether they running, jumping, swimming, whatever they doing. Most High, like, I don't know what it's like. What is getting into y'all? We breed for their games. Do y'all not know that people do that intentionally? Breed for the games. Years ago, man, I played football. I wasn't even thinking like that. I wasn't even thinking like that. My wife still with her today, 5'4". These Edomites saying they saying they gonna get them a big old one. Amazon. They won't mess with no puny woman. Shit, she had to be like 6'2" or 6'3". They gonna get them some linemen or something. I ain't lying. I heard them say it. They gonna get them a big old woman. They gonna make sure if they're a big person, and they get a big woman, they most likely is gonna produce a big person, and turn them into athletes. Yeah. Israel, man. It says, we follow their customs so earnestly, and unto whom they desire to be like in all things. Okay? Verse 17.
For it is not a light thing to do wickedly against the laws of God.
So, in other words, when you read that, does not that tell you that you're breaking the law? That says you're breaking the law. This is not a light thing. So, in other words, we shouldn't look at that as something small. So, if somebody asks you, am I breaking the laws by doing that? You should say yes. Why? Because it's a Greek custom. And it specifically tells you this. Okay? Go ahead.
But the time following shall declare these things.
The time following, meaning after this, you're going to be able to see. Okay. So now, I think that's it pertaining to that.
All right.
Yeah. I just want to, like I said, I went into a conversation earlier, and it seemed as if maybe it was a little not confusing to the person, but I said, well, you know what? Because this is like a scattered shower. Israel everywhere is into this. Israel needs to deliver and save themselves, you know, from situations like this. Because, I mean, if you don't, the Most High said, it's not a light thing. Okay? 2 Corinthians 6. Second Corinthians 6, verse 17.
2 Corinthians 6 and 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, and will.
Okay? Come out from among them and be separate. Okay? That's what the Most High said. Come out from among them and be separate. And we have to count the loss. We have to count the loss. We have to count the loss. Right? That's what Paul said. He counted all things but loss, that he counted gain. Okay? Read it again.
Verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
So we have to be separate. Okay? So now, Philippians 3. Philippians chapter 3 and verse 7.
Philippians 3 and 7. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss.
So Paul said, what things were gained to me, those things I counted loss. Okay? So if he put, say for instance, if we put years into our thinking process, or we've got our ambition set, we should count it a loss. It's no good because it comes from our oppressors. Okay? Whether it's money, we have to count it loss. Time and energy, we have to count it loss. Okay? Me, when I heard this truth, I counted loss. Okay? When I heard this truth, man, I was playing ball and trying to make a career out of it. I had a lot invested. I mean, you could never even imagine the things I used to actually go through to try and make it. Working out on a daily basis, working out for years. The commitment, all of that. When I understood the scriptures, I was highly invested. I used to travel to play, live in other states. I actually was trying to make it. But when I understood the scriptures, I stopped. As far as health, I was at the top of my game. I had a 4 or 5 bench press. You talking about strong? At a 505 squat. That's probably, as far as strength, I probably was in the top 5 as far as strength in the gym I worked out in. I was extremely strong. When I played, I just bulldozed. I led my team in rushing yards and scoring touchdowns. You talking about the man. That was an understatement. It was like a circus, man. I was on a winning team. We were ranked number one in minor league in the world. We was extremely good. We beat people 100-0. The guy that ran in the backfield with me played for the Bears. His name was Travis Todd. His brother played for the Packers. So to count something a loss, you could not explain to me how you cannot walk away from this world and be justified. I just won't be able to hear. You'd be talking to the wrong person. I'm sorry. I've been there and done that. And I'm glad I did. I had to try with the St. Louis Rams and call myself working out before the trial, before the week trying out, and pulled a hamstring and pulled my hamstring. I told you I was injury prone. But it was all at the Most High putting these little stop blocks, stumbling blocks to keep me from getting to that. After I read the scriptures, and it wasn't like the first day, but after being obedient, I was able to understand why. I have no regrets. So so someone say, well, do you ever wish that you had a? I'm glad I did, because you can't do the same. You can't serve two masters. Just like Moses, man. When Moses understood, the scriptures say he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to be the servant of sin or something like that. To enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. That's only seasonal. If you make the wrong decision, you could be stuck in that decision. If you make this decision, then you're going to reap. And you're going to reap forever. Okay? So you have Philippians 3. Now read the 8th verse.
Yea, doubtless, and I count it all things but loss, for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahweh, my Lord. For whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung.
So he counts them but what? Dung. You know what dung is? Dung is like some poop. So while we are steaming Greek customs like this is everything, Paul said that's like poop on my sandal. What do? We try and get that off of our shoe. We like, I want to get off of that. I don't want that on my shoe. That's nothing. That's going to be done away with. So those of you that is battling, you create a battle, it shouldn't even be a battle. It should be a no-brainer. It don't take a brain for you to figure out that when the Most High do away with that, it's not going to exist. And if you participated in it and you didn't repent, then and repent of it, I ain't just saying I'm sorry, I see it, and then you're going to ask the same thing 3 months later or a year later. Repenting of it is like, I understand that ain't something that Israel ain't even supposed to do that. Israel needs to work on Israel. Israel has got bigger things to do. All our houses are out of order. All our wives are out of order. All our children are out of order. All our leaders are out of order. Israel is divided. And you got time to play hoops? You got time to join the team? To be committed to that? But you can't come to class. Well, that shows a lot about you. Okay? Your children want to play soccer, but they don't want to come and learn how to be men or learn how to be daughters of the Most High. Your daughters want to be like SWV, or they want to be like, what's the other one? Left Eye Died. What's that group name? TLC. But they don't want to come and learn how to be a woman. That should confuse you. And if you have a problem with dealing with your children because they don't want to do that, then that means you have a problem that you need to fix. First of all, you need to examine yourself and toughen up and say, well, listen, let me set aside time to tell them over and over and over. And kids play that little thing to where they try and wear you out. They try and pretend like they don't know what you're talking about. They be stuck on what they want to do. You're supposed to know what's right. You have to break them for that. Because it's going to become a day and a time when the Most High, He's going to send His Son. Okay? He's going to send His Son, and His Son's going to rage, and He's going to make and cause war. And it's going to be some issues here on the earth. And if you don't want to be caught in the middle of it, then you got to be into the good. And what's good, you got to be into these laws and not into this world. God said everyone that is joined with them is going to be thrust through. That's not going to be good. That means destroy. We're gonna die with them, and we don't want to die with them. Okay? So, I think that's it. Anybody, you brothers, have something that y'all some precepts y'all want to add to this before we shut it down? Gabaria, Barya, Tawada.
I'm good. No.
Oh, I thought we just started.
Time. I tell you what, let's yeah, I bet us. I guess I was kind of prepared for